This book changed my opinion of Australia forever. Hi guys, my name is Kurt Provost and welcome to Exit West. This is the channel where we explore the crisis that the West is experiencing and look for options outside of the West. Now, I saw this post on X recently and it was saying the current state of Australia: cost of living crisis, housing crisis, energy crisis, economic recession, and it went on in the comments with people adding the ones that had been missed: immigration crisis, social division crisis, etc., etc. And all of that is true. That's what's interesting about this post. I am Australian, I live here in Sydney, and I'm looking to leave the country that I have grown to love deeply. And that is a sad thing, but it is the ultimate reality of the times that we live in today. So the reason why I opened with this book and I wanted to share The Fatal Shore by Robert Hughes is because it's interesting, the origin story of this country and what was possible and what was able to be achieved by people who were, for lack of a better word, the scum of society. We were talking about the dregs of British society. And yes, a lot of Aussies will like to play down the fact that not everyone who came was a convict, and not everyone who was a convict was a criminal per se. Like they weren't necessarily rapists and murderers. But there were rapists and murderers included, but there are also innocent people who happened to steal a loaf of bread because they were starving. That doesn't necessarily mean they're innocent, but they're guilty of the crime that they did. At the time in the UK, which is detailed quite well here, is that they had so many laws and it was so difficult to survive that it was very easy to find yourself on the wrong side of law. Which is interesting because today we find ourselves in a similar situation in that there are so many rules and regulations out there that if the government really wants to pick you up for something, it's totally possible. Particularly with what we are seeing happening in Australia right now with a bill that is being debated and looks like it'll be passed given how our government is. Most of those woke things tend to pass. And it is truly dystopian. It is an anti-disinformation bill that is censoring the internet, social media platforms, and a whole bunch of other things like that. So what you see there, that post is correct. Australia is experiencing a crisis, and the reason I'm talking about it, even though most of you aren't in Australia, is because Australia is emblematic of a lot of what is happening in the West right now. Because what happened during 2020, that was when the veil was ripped off many Australians' eyes, and the government decided, in the name of your safety, we're going to lock you in your home, we're going to lock you within this country, you can't exit this country, you can't enter this country if you're an Australian abroad. Well, too bad, that's on you. And the issue was that most Australians celebrated that. And a lot of people didn't celebrate that, but they didn't say or do anything about it. The ongoing consequences of the terrible decisions that were made by bureaucrats on our behalf with zero consultation perpetuate today, and we have to pay the price. None of them have to. They've all moved on to cushy jobs. There will be no justice in that regard. And so instead of continuing to shake my fist at the grand injustice of that time and of the consequences of that time, it simply makes sense to step out of the West. And if you relate with that sentiment, then let's go on a journey together, because I don't believe there are any perfect places out there, but I do believe that there could be a perfect place for you. Let's find it together. I'm a new channel, guys, so I appreciate the thumbs up, comments, shares, and subscriptions. If you're curious about different residency options that are available for Australians, you can check out this video here. All right, ciao guys.